Hi and welcome back to this course on the AWS Developer Associate. So we're quickly going to go through what we're going to learn during the duration of this course. So first let's have a quick look at the exam blueprint. Now the blueprint is available on the AWS site and I'll provide a link as a resource to this chapter. So I've taken the main parts of the exam blueprint and put it out over here. So some of the key aspects are as follows. Firstly, you need to understand how to design, develop, and deploy cloud-based solutions using AWS. So when you're looking at a design perspective, it could be how do you design your network or your VPC. It can also look at how do you design DynamoDB tables that's as per the requirements of your application. Next is understanding of the core AWS services, their use cases, and basic architecture best practices. Next is developing and maintaining applications written for the simple storage service. This is very important. The Amazon DynamoDB, the Amazon Simple Queue service, the Simple Notification service, the Simple Workflow service, Elastic Beanstalk, and AWS Cloudformation. So this course targets all the concepts that's required for the AWS Developer Associate exam. Just a quick note, in the exam itself, you will not get questions which pertain to a particular programming language. Now AWS has support for a variety of programming languages. So you have support for .NET, you have support for Java, you have support for PHP, etc. But in the exam, you are not expected to know all of these programming languages. It's just the concepts of AWS which pertain to the development process. So it's not that you will get a question on how you would integrate PHP with AWS. No, it's the concepts on AWS. So just keep this in mind. So you don't need to be a whiz in each programming language and how it interfaces with AWS. Yes, you should practice using the AWS services from the programming language that you know. So in this course, since I'm familiar with the .NET programming language, I've given some examples on how you can use the AWS services from a .NET program. Now I've got a whole list of topics we're going to discuss about in our course. I'm just going to go through the list of topics right now. So we're going to look at the fundamentals. In the fundamentals, we're going to look at regions and VPCs. We're also going to look at availability zones. We're going to look at how to create EC2 instances. We're going to see how to build Windows and Linux servers. We look at elastic IPs. We look at the securities which is available in AWS via the NACL, that's the Network Access Control List, and the security groups. We look at how to create EBS volumes. We look at public and private subnets. And finally, we look at how to create VPCs. This is part of my fundamental section. Then we'll go on to simple storage service. In simple storage service, we look how to work with S3 buckets and objects. We look at how to host a static website. We look at object versioning. We look at ACL and Bucket policies. We look at encryption. From a security standpoint, we look at identity and access management. We'll see the shared responsibility model between AWS and the customer. And we look at how to use roles in AWS. Next, we go on to the NoSQL option that's provided by AWS, the fully managed service known as DynamoDB. So here we are looking at working with DynamoDB, the tables and items, what is provision throughput, using scans and queries, working with indexes, and finally conditional writes. In a miscellaneous section, I am going to look at or touch upon the various other services that a developer should know. So we'll look at the simple notification service, the simple queuing service known as SQS, the Elastic Load Balancer, Elastic Beanstalk, the Simple Workflow Service, Cloudformation templates, and finally the Software Development Kit. Now finally is the updates to this course. Now over the course duration, I take feedback from students. I also ensure that I browse through a lot of forums and ensure the course is updated from time to time. That is why you will see additional sections which is known as additional topics. So for example, I've added topics recently from SNS and mobile notifications, how you can use pre-signed URLs, what is and how do you configure CORS configuration in the simple storage service, what is AWS Lambda, and how you can use FIFO queues. And I keep on updating the chapters. So this is just a subset of the chapters which I keep on updating on the course every now and then. And whenever I update the course, I ensure that I send a notification to the students of the course on the new chapters, or if there are any modifications to the existing chapters in the course. So again, a warm welcome to the course, and I hope you enjoy the duration of this course.